Hey there, blade fans. We are back with TwoSun knives today, and this is probably my final installment of the year on favorite TwoSuns. If I keep going, I'm going to do all the TwoSuns, but there were at least 3 videos previous to this one where I showcased some TwoSuns that I really feel are outstanding knives. And we're down to these last 4. That doesn't mean the last 4 in the collection, but you know, you guys know some knives are more favored than others, right? So here are the 4, and they all just happen to be really beautiful titanium beasts with mostly premium material, except for one. And we'll point that out as we go through these. So I'm going to begin with the TS313 at the top. It is a night morning design. Now, Night Morning has been doing blades for TwoSun designs for a long time, going right back to the beginning of TwoSun, pretty much, or at least when I began collecting TwoSun probably 4 years ago, something like that, 3 years ago. You know, time flies, so it seems longer than it really is. Anyway, this was the first button lock I encountered. There have been many more since, but it's a premium button lock because it's in a premium steel, M390. The button is very smooth. There's no stick whatsoever. Some people have complained that they can defeat the lock by wrapping it on the back of the blade. I don't recommend that. But if it's going to see hard use, maybe you want to go to something like a Hogue, you know. But I think for regular EDC work, I wouldn't not trust this knife. Let's put it that way. Taking a look at that plunge lock, you know, there's not a whole lot of engagement, and you can see when I push it in, that last little rim over there is what's holding the blade in place. And they may have designed it so perhaps it would have been better to have more contact area. All right, so that's true. That may be a flaw of the knife. I do like the design. It's a solid knife. Blade stock is pretty good. Looks like it's coming in just shy of 4 millimeters. By the way, if you wanted to learn more about each of these, I'm not going to measure them up today. I'm not going to go over technical specs. They're all on my channel with reviews on each. And just really like this knife. A lot of detail on it, like most TwoSuns. You've got that really nicely jimped backspacer. You've got a hidden lanyard port. And it was very popular when it first came out. Not sure if it's still popular, or maybe if there's even a shortage of them. A lot of these knives, the models come and go. But that is the TwoSun TS313, designed by Night Morning. Coming down the line, we have another Night Morning design. And here's where they began putting numbers on the blades, which is good. This is the TS269. I'm not sure if it has a name. A lot of these do have nicknames that don't get widely advertised, but this is a really nice, it's D2, okay? Yeah, we all wish they'd come out with it in like, you know, S90V or M390, but look at that really cool harpoon blade. And the micro milling on the handle, really, really nice, all different directions. It's got that circular, they got that stamp on the pivots around that some people like and some people don't. I like it because it looks kind of like an official stamped cartridge head. Been looking at those for a few years back in my shooting days. You have a visible lanyard hole on this one, not hidden. You have a short back spacer. The whole thing's titanium in the handle. I mean, it would be beautiful in even Sandvik, something like that. But I'm not dissing D2. I guess we're just all maybe a little tired of stuff being made in D2, even though it's still a great cutlery steel for many purposes. You know, it's not junk. And again, I think Metal Complex put out something some time back saying, you know, it's all like in the numbers. You know, we want to throw numbers out. M390, S90V, 14C28N, D2. And, you know, it becomes like the cards you're holding, right? You know, this card has a better value than that card. And a lot of people just collect knives and never use them, or they'll pick a few out that are their favorite EDCs and use those. Let me tell you, this could be a good EDC knife and a very attractive one at the same time. All these, by the way, are full-size knives. Look at the way they incorporated that ramp there for your thumb. Nice jimping right there, and then you got a stop for your thumb right there. So you've got both, right? Thumb studs are interesting, as you can see in the close-up here. They're the tiered, conical, pretty tall standing thumb studs, and they're fairly sharp at the end. They might have been able to tone that down just a little bit. I find sometimes diamond files come in handy if you're careful and you don't scratch anything adjacent to what you're trying to dehorn. There's a good shot of the micro milling. Almost looks like it's got a coating over it. I wonder if it does. It's there, but it's got a little bit of the smooth look to it. So again, this is the TS269 by Night Morning in D2. Let's see if they come out with it in a premium steel. Moving on down, the Cobra, the TS190. And again, there's Night Morning for you. This is one of the sliciest blades I have. Look how high that grind is. M390 on this one, by the way, folks. Yes, M390. Can throw that number out. There it is. Beautiful frame lock. Incredible forward belly on that with a little bit of a trailing point. Real interesting combo of profile features. Very ergonomic handle. There's your micro milling again. There's your lanyard hole. And this blade is just a laser. Let me see if I can cut some paper for you. All right, let's pull this bad boy out again, see what it'll do. Last I checked, it was sharp. And there I go again. There we go. And I managed to get it all over the other knives. But yes, it is a slicey dicey knife. And if it isn't sharp enough for you out of the box, I'm not sure they're still making it. It will be sharp with just a little bit of stropping. And I haven't touched that edge yet. That's factory edge. It's biting sharp. It's just waiting to cut something. And again, high flat grind. Big full-size knife. Said I wouldn't measure, but just to give you in perspective, we're talking 3 3/4 on that. With a good blade stock, and they have held it nicely out to the point. Still a fine point. I mean, there's lots of stuff you could do with this knife in terms of cutting, skinning, cardboard, what have you. I think this would be a laser on cardboard. Haven't tried it for that yet. A lot of the TwoSuns, you know, they haven't seen any pocket time, but then again, there's a lot of them, so I'd have to go into quite a large rotation in order to use them all. There's a little bit of a swedge at the top where they just break that edge really nice, and then it tapers to the point. I mean, lots of features and eye candy on these knives. Finally, and I say perhaps the best on the table for last, this one is a Mazwan Mokhtar design, and it is the TS306. Now, I've heard it might have a nickname, and if you know that, go ahead and put it in the comments. but an amazing knife, and this is one of the few that TwoSun has experimented with using M398. I'm saying that correctly. It's not M390, it's M398, and M398 is an improvement, if that's possible, over M390. And let me see if I can get you some quick info on that. Alright, so this is from Knife Steel Compositions. I'll give you a quick screenshot there if I don't get too many reflections. There you go. So you can read it. And basically, Böhler Uddeholm introduced M398 steel in 2019, so relatively new. At least that's when it appeared in various knife-related forums. I'll show you the knife as I'm talking so you don't get too bored. As far as pure wear resistance is concerned, it is definitely an improvement. M398 has a lot more carbon, 0.70%, more of it, and 3.2% more vanadium, making it a whopping 7.2%. Obviously, this isn't a steel which is easy to work with. M390 wasn't an easy one to begin with. And from what I've gathered so far, forging is theoretically possible but very difficult. While Böhler Uddeholm M390 had only 20% carbide volume, in the end, both working hardness and wear resistance have been increased, sacrificing toughness in the process. So, and a lot of these knives are coming in at 66 to 67 HRC. I can't say that the TwoSun here is in that hardness range, but it is possible with this steel and with it being so fine. So that's a little bit. I'm sure you can look up more. Just wanted to let you know. And there is very simply Mazwan's shield, his logo right there. So if you see that on a knife, that is Mazwan Mokhtar. And he seems to design exclusively for TwoSun. I have not seen his designs elsewhere. Look at this, call it kind of a channel or a fuller kind of design along the side with 1, 2, 3, 4 beautifully placed carbon fiber inserts. And you've got the same thing. Do you have the same thing? Yeah, got the same thing on the clip side, which is amazing. Clip's just hiding 2 of them. Nice engagement on the lock bar. I would say on this one like 40%. Hardened steel insert, and look how thick that lock bar is. It is a butter smooth knife that can be opened with the here we go again. Well, I can sort of get my finger in there. It's a little shallow. There we go. Yes, you can middle finger flick it. Let's all applaud. But nice muted flipper tab. And it looks like I can almost feel it. Yep. But it takes some work. With just a normal light switch stroke, it goes right out there. And again, that is the TS306. Beautiful, beautiful knife. Look at the jimping on that thumb ramp. Premium, primo steel for a production knife. And real interesting blade shape. There you have it. That's the wrap up for TwoSuns that I like for 2022. And this is November 2022. Probably won't get the chance to do another one this year, but I'm sure there's more TwoSuns in my future. Take care. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Be well.